How is it going, guys? It's Gaz here on MUFC Daily for Full Time Devils. Good bloody morning to you. Now let's get straight into it and talk about all the latest Man United news that is going about today. And there's quite a bit going about, a lot about youth today. First things first, the 7,000 mini stadium that we were supposedly going to build for the youth squad, for them to actually have somewhere to play in. Those plans have been put on hold now. That is according to The Guardian anyway. The 7,000 mini-seater stadium, sort of similar to what Man City are doing. Hate to compare us, but it kind of is. So they're still on hold. So for the meantime, the youngsters will just have to travel around Manchester like they do, which kind of suits me because it means they play down the road at Alty now and then. But, you know, it would be nice for them to have their own ground. And, you know, is that a massive deal in terms of the actual youngsters' development, that they have their own stadium, they have their own sort of home ground, essentially? Because, of course, a lot of people will be saying, well, there's not a massive problem with our youngsters. Our under-21s are doing brilliantly. They're always, you know, getting into the first team. What is the issue? Why is everyone making a big deal? The under-21s are doing well, but the under-18s are in a bit of a struggle at the minute. And, of course, they are the future. The under-18s went on a run this season of 13 losses in 14 games, remember. So, you know, it's not all hunky-dory in our youth at the minute. Brilliant with the under-21s getting in the first team, but a little bit lower down, it still needs sorting out. Is a stadium the way to do that? One thing that a stadium would bring is that fans would actually be able to, you know, only have to go to one place to follow our under-21s, and there wouldn't be games behind closed doors like our Manchester Senior Cup game was recently against Oldham. We did win that game, won in the quarterfinal of the Manchester Senior Cup, so we're now into the semis. But like I say, it was played behind closed doors at Carrington, and we've got this massive fan base who go up and down the country following our youth. Surely they have a right to see a quarterfinal game. That's a big deal. But anyway, yeah, we did win it. We won it 4-0. Adnan Januzaj got a couple of goals. Andreas Pereira got one. And Regan Poole got one as well. Regan Poole made his debut for Man United, of course, against Midtjylland recently. Adnan Januzaj we know all about. Not made many first-team appearances since he's returned from Dortmund, but maybe a couple of goals in the Manchester Senior Cup quarter-final is enough to get him back on Louis van Gaal's radar. Pereira is a player that isn't playing at all for Man United, and at times I would like to see him. I think it's sort of got to the point, and don't hate on me now, but it's got to the point where in certain games we are really struggling, and a lot of people are just saying, oh, just get Pereira on, without really knowing how he could change a game, you know what I mean? But I understand that mentality as well, because sometimes we need something a bit unknown, someone who can do something that the opposition isn't expecting. I feel like Pereira could be that player for the senior team, especially in a game like West Brom when we were losing the other day. I definitely would have thrown Pereira in the mix and just seen him get involved. It's not going to do any harm, is it? And it's not going to be much worse than what we've had to put with at times this season. Right, moving on from the youngsters. Wayne Rooney has apparently been confiding in his best mate in the world, telling him that, you know, China offered him a big deal to go over there and play football, a huge, massive 8-0 figure. And his best mate that he was confiding in was Piers Morgan. When were Wayne Rooney and Piers Morgan best mates? When was that a thing? Piers Morgan's wrote in his column recently, basically saying that Wayne Rooney rang him at 11 p.m. I'm not having that. I'm sorry, but there is no way Wayne Rooney and Piers Morgan are on that close terms. They're not knocking about at Starbucks together, are they? I very much doubt Wayne Rooney's ringing Piers Morgan with that information. I have a feeling he'll be ringing. I don't think he'd ever ring him. It's ridiculous. But yeah, apparently, according to Piers Morgan, Wayne Rooney rang him to tell him he was offered a deal in China for an eye-watering fee. Not having it, guys. Right, moving on from Piers and Rooney's bromance. And yeah, the bastion of English news, the Mail, has been reporting all of the big stories this week. And that is that Man United players went to a gig last night. That's right, huge groundbreaking news. Loads of United players were basically at Adele in Manchester last night to see the gig. I'm sure she smashed it. She always does. The only reason I'm interested in this is to see what Juan Mata was wearing, because the man has some serious style, doesn't he? And you can't go far wrong copying Juan Mata's style. Anyway, guys, get your comments in below. Juan Mata, do you think he actually dresses like a tramp? Get your comments in below. Tell me. Talk about all those things that I spoke about, all about the youth, the under-21 stadium, the win in the quarter-final of the Manchester Senior Cup. Piers Morgan and Wayne Rooney, do you think they're actually best mates? Get your comments in below. Tell me. I've been Gaz, in a bit.
I hate doing these the day after a game, especially a game that we've lost. There's just so little enthusiasm for anything, isn't there?